To some business stories, a group of some of the biggest oil producers in the world has agreed to reduce their output starting next month, shocking the energy markets.
Yes, indeed, and OPEC resolved to reduce output targets starting in October by around 100,000 barrels per day. Now, the decision comes amid an intense and intensifying energy disagreement between the West and Russia, which has many people in Europe extremely worried about the possibility of a recession and a winter gas shortage. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says petrol will cost consumers 462 naira per litre without the federal government subsidy.
Yes. Now, the company said it will offer itself for a forensic audit of fuel supply and subsidy management, insisting that daily fuel supply is 68 million litres.
All right, let's bring in Arise business analyst Bode Ososami for more on these stories. Bode, good to see you. It's been a while. Now, what were the considerations that informed today's OPEC Plus decision to cut production by 100,000 barrels per day, reversing, what you might describe as last month's symbolic hike?
Yes, it's good to see you again, Ngozi and Adeswa. Thanks for having me on the show. It was a surprise cut, although I wouldn't call it a shock, because some analysts already got wind of discussions about this 100,000 barrels per day cut. And most thought they would have waited to watch developments unfold. But what they did was somewhat clever. While they have cut by 100,000 barrels per day, they say they are in a position to make amendments even before the next meeting. It's like keeping the session open, allowing them to be much more flexible. And so we could see amendments to this 100,000 barrels per day cuts, maybe deeper cuts or shallower cuts within the month. The considerations, according to the statement that informed this, the heightened volatility definitely is an issue, driven by the uncertainty and the decline in liquidity on the current oil market and the need for market stability. As you know, the 100,000 was really reversing the increase that they had done earlier in September. So they've kind of reverted to the production level of August 2022 for OPEC and non-OPEC participating countries for the month of October. And of course, the geopolitics is concerning. Over the weekend, Gazprom said it's fixing a leak of a vital pipeline, forcing it to shut Nord Stream 1 indefinitely. That means gas supply to Europe was cut off. This came hours after G7 announced a price cap on Russian energy supply. So clearly, there are issues that are unfolding. JP Morgan had previously forecasted that this scenario could see oil prices skyrocket, and Putin has vowed to retaliate with very aggressive production cuts. He's also threatening to stop selling oil to any country that supports price caps for Russian oil. There are other factors, for example, the Iranian nuclear deal. Is this going to go on or not? And there's an EU embargo on seaborne Russian crude and fuel imports that are going to come into full force early 2023. This would reduce Russian supply. So there are quite a few developments that are somewhat still evolving, and OPEC wants to be able to be in a position to adjust, given, of course, the pressures to bring prices down, with talk of winter rationing and prices still looking quite uncertain and under diverse supply and demand pressures. Saudi Arabia had signaled a fortnight ago that OPEC Plus could decide to cut production at any time to help prices. We also saw the impact of fresh lockdowns and the slowing factory activity in China, intensifying fears of a recession. After the Saudi signal, others like Congo's hydrocarbon president, minister, Bruno Jean-Richard Itwa, he's the present OPEC president. He also expressed support for potential cuts. United Arab Emirates, Iraq, Venezuela, Kazakhstan also favored a cut. Russia is said to have signaled opposition to an OPEC cut, concerned that a cut could signal to buyers that the market is oversupplied and it could lose its leverage. But Clearly, one thing that has intensified in recent times is the uncertainty, and the OPEC Plus, in its statement today, has paved the way, just like I said, for mid-month adjustments. And I think we can begin to expect to see these mid-month adjustments.
Okay, Bode, and I mean, one will wonder, how does this affect Nigeria? What difference does it make, given that the country has consistently underproduced its quotas? What are your thoughts on this development, even though we understand that the situation is improving?
I think the major issue for the Nigerian oil and gas basin, Adesua, is to restore business confidence for investment. The headlines on security and the tough realities on the ground have complicated issues to attract investment at a time when fossil fuel investments are tougher to get. And of course, when most players are now exiting less efficient plays, imagine the position where oil theft and security of products and infrastructure are issues. You are just no more in the game. So there is a lot of restoring business confidence that needs to be done, taken seriously. You have to go out and woo the market all over again. Most of the interventions that will plug the leakages require investments in pipeline, surveillance equipment, technology, and of course, investment will not come if confidence is not restored. The focus on local value add is very important, but to get growth in production and reserves, it's a long-term game requiring business confidence, macroeconomic stability. Of course, we have issues with FX stability, high inflation, but you also just need to go after your domestic and global partnerships to attract the technology and the long-term capital that is very vital to get back on track as far as growth and reserves is concerned.
All right, Bode Ososami, Arise News business analyst there, joining us from London. Thank you very much.